But you have to take into consideration that this plane is moving in a specific direction and the UFO is moving in the opposite direction.
So it seems faster?
It looks much faster than it actually is. So even if that was like a Mylar balloon, if you're passing it that fast, see that thing, I mean, I don't know what you're getting there. Like, is that distorted? Like when they're showing that image, that to me looks like it's from another fucking world. Like if that's really what it looks like and it's actually flying like that, but I don't know if that's a distortion based on the freeze frame of this. You know, you also have to take into consideration what kind of phone does she have? How fast is the camera? Is it able to pick things? Because there's things that can happen with artifacts, with digital artifacts, and things move very quickly. You get like weird lines that might not, but that looks very distinct. Like
but at a certain point,
play it again.
There's been so many sightings. You've got to be an idiot to believe.
It's so fascinating, man.
I love it.
So whatever this thing is, I mean, if I was a cynic, I'd say, oh, it's a fucking balloon. But it is weird because it's not moving that fast. If the plane is moving, it's a propeller plane. Let's say, how fast do you think a propeller plane goes?
90.
So if
100.
that was stationary, now let's imagine the propeller plane is going against the wind. So maybe that thing is going with the wind. So whatever that thing is getting blown with the wind current. So it could be a balloon. So if that thing is going 90 miles an hour, just imagine if you're a car, okay, and you're going 90 miles an hour and you're passing someone that's going in the opposite direction on the other side of the highway. They would probably be moving quicker than this. Let's see that again. Back that up again. So watch this thing. So imagine you're in a car, you're scooting along the highway, and there's a car comes around the turn. It goes just like that. It's probably very slow. It's probably not fast at all. And it might even be stationary. It might just be blowing in the wind.
You're right.
Because if you picture how fast the plane's going and how fast now this is obviously assuming that the wind is going in the direction of whatever that thing is.
So this came out today. What are people saying about it?
But here's the thing. If it's going the opposite, if actually the plane is going with the wind and this thing is going against the wind, then it gets weird, because then you have to go, okay, well, is that plane going fast enough where it looks like that if it's just stationary, or if it's just fluttering in the wind because you're passing it? So it's kind of tricky when you get that video and you go, oh my God, it's UFO. Look at it fly past you fast. Not really that fast.
Well, more importantly than the speed, that's what I saw. I saw something. For me, it was just lights at night, and they moved. That's my thing, but that's not. But this is something you can't explain.
Sounds like it moved way faster than that.
It did.
Yeah,
it did. I've never seen anything disappear like that. And more importantly, I have a witness.
Yeah,
I was sitting there at the same time, and we were driving because we thought it was a big accident. Maybe there was a train crash or something.
So there were other people on the highway?
No, it was just me and her about midnight, and it was in a north of Toronto. We were heading up north, but she'll tell you the same story, and we're both not, Do
you know the Betty and Barney Hill story?
No.
That's an amazing story. It's one of the very first UFO abduction stories. And I think it was from 1950s, somewhere around then. Betty and Barney Hill, I believe they were in Maine, and something happened to them, and they saw something in the sky, and then they had all these terrors and night terrors and like weird feelings. Then they got hypnotic regression, and during the hypnotic regression, they both told a very eerily similar story about being taken aboard this craft, about experiments being done on them, and then being put back in their car and having their memories at least partially erased. It was only accessible to them when they did hypnotic regression. Very controversial, but it's also like it was one of the very first depictions of these beings that are it's a part of the iconic alien looking thing, like that everybody seems to see, a very similar creature, a very small creature with very big head, very big eyes, and that these folks had an experience with them.
It's more amazing to me that it isn't widely accepted with how many experiences have been written about, have been documented, even by military pilots and Barney and his wife.
But don't you think there's more people that accept it now? Like Michio Kaku talks about it now openly, whereas Michio Kaku is a very straight-laced physicist who his entire career has just advocated based on science and evidence, and he's very rational. He's a great communicator, but now he's turned the corner where he says the amount of evidence that is available now, the side of the critic is the one that has very little evidence. He thinks the side of the believer, there's a vast amount of data that seems to indicate that there's some things out there that we really don't understand.